Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
I'm Baka.
What's up,
What's up,
guys?
guys?
How's it going?
Welcome back after like a month of MIA-ness.
It's been a while for me, for sure.
I don't even remember you the last time you were around these parts.
Start treating him like Ollie treats Snitty. Be like, who's this?
Who is that?
Are you new here?
Wait, I forgot. Where is he on your screen so that I can point at him? Who is that? Who is that down there?
Listen to you.
Well, welcome back. We've had several weeks of playing stuff and doing things and whatnot in the interim between the shows.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, I know this weekend we played like Murder and TTT, but I don't remember what we played in the previous like 3 weeks. So
We got a new ghost hunting game, Ghost Exorcism Inc. It plays a lot like Phasmo. I've been enjoying it. It's been a nice turn from Phasmo.
it's like
Phasmo,
if you were the Ghostbusters in Phasmo, so that you can actually like stand a chance of living.
Yeah.
Which makes it less scary to me.
I like that you have the opportunity to defend yourself. I also like that the ghost will just fuck with you more regularly.
Yeah.
Like you're just running and then you just drop your shit and you're in pitch black and you're like, shit, where'd my stuff go? Oh, it was next to me. Or like in Baka, one of them, he just got drug up the stairs and disappeared into a back room and it's like,
bye.
hello? Where did I go? So you're in pitch black having to find your way back to where you dropped your stuff. So I like that. It's interesting in that style. In Phasmo, you have a ghost that has every ghost has a specific set of evidence. So every time you get a djinn, it's always going to be the same evidence. You just have to go in and find that evidence. In this game, it's an interesting spin on it. All the ghosts physically look the same. Like a child ghost is always going to look like a child ghost. Because the clown ghost is going to look like a clown. A memory is going to look like a dismembered ghost. Like the one that we've seen is just a pair of legs walking around.
Yeah.
It's literally just a pair of legs.
Come here, butt. Let me throw this at you.
So when you see it, you're like, oh, that's a memory ghost. And then based on its actual look, it can have any evidence at all. Like you have to test for every bit of evidence every time you go in. And then when you figure out the 3 to 5 pieces of evidence, you have to exercise it. You have to do specific things each time. Throw holy water on it. Throw what's the other thing? It's
Tiger's eye and salt.
Tiger's
are the
eye,
things that you can throw.
Salt. You got to find its cursed object and destroy it, or destroy the pentagram, destroy the infestation. Like all these different things.
You have to read the exorcism thing, and it has a default one that's like your normal, like in the name of the Lord I command you out or whatever. But you can change it to say what you want it to say as long as the audio system can recognize the words that you're trying to use. I changed mine.
Oh yeah, she did. It
Baka
starts
changed
with
his. Mine
holy
is
thick buns or
mine
something
is dear
like that.
thick bunned ghost. You need to leave. You ate all of our cookies and that was rude. Also, you're too loud for the neighbors. Seriously, you gotta go. Okay, thanks. Bye.
And she has to read that so that it disappears.
That's funny.
That's good. It's good. I think that makes it one of the best ghost games out there because I can call a ghost a thick bunned ghost and it listened to me.
Yes. I like it. It's definitely nice to have a varied style of ghost hunting games. Putting 300 and 400 hours of Phasmo in, it's like, yeah, it's really good, and I still enjoy the shit out of it. But I like having a different, change of pace for it.
How's the shopping system work? Like with Phasmo, it was you started off with basically nothing, minimal stuff, and then you could go through as you leveled up.
You get like freebie stuff in the truck though, so you can do your investigation.
Only on those specific missions.
What do you mean those specific missions? Oh, there's other kinds of missions that you can bring all of your stuff? Okay.
Yes, because in the beginning, you are offered normal missions, which they offer you base equipment. You can use the PC to bring in your own stuff. But that's how it works, is you just get the base set of equipment. There are rescue missions where you have to go in. You're not allowed to bring your equipment. You can't use the PC to bring in anything you've bought. Everything that you need is inside the house, and the people that were there before you are unconscious in the house.
So you gotta go find them.
So you have to go in, rescue them, use their equipment, figure out what it is, and exercise. Basically, you're there to finish the mission. which is neat.
Oh, wow.
I like that option.
Also, you have to, if you're bringing your stuff that you paid for, you have to put it back on the bus or else you lose it.
yes.
Like in Phasmo, you're like, I just left everything in the house, whatever. No, in this
Yes.
one, it's
Also,
like,
if you die and become a ghost, you can pick up equipment and still use it.
yes, you can, and it's really weird to be like, Kat and I were alive because Chicken and Baka had both died, and we were standing at the door of the house, like, strategizing, and all of a sudden, like, the EVP thing just floats past the front door, and I was like, what just happened? And then there goes, like, the book behind it, and I'm like, they're like, oh no, that's us. I'm like, oh, okay.
In actual gameplay mechanics, like if you're using in-game mics, the only way for the dead to talk to the living is through the spirit box. Like you can actually talk to the living people through the spirit box. So you'll have to like float around as a spirit box and be like, "Hey, he's to your left. Watch out."
We were cheating though. We were in Discord though.
But yeah, when you buy things, they go into your inventory, and then while you're on the truck, you can go to the back part and open up the PC and spawn it, and you can use whatever you have that's in your storage. But you have to make sure you bring it back on the truck, or you lose it. And stuff can be expensive, so you want to make sure you bring back what you take.
Also, if you get hurt, the way that you heal, like, or in Phasmo, it's like you have sanity loss, and so you have to go and take pills to regen your sanity. And this one, like, the ghost pushes you down a few times, and you're like, oh no, I'm injured. Let me run to the van and drink a sports drink real quick.
Well, you can't even run.
Yeah, let me walk to the van slowly and then down like a 12-pack of Coke. Okay, I'm good. Let's go back inside now.
You have infinite stamina, and you can wield things in two hands. When you get injured, you basically are walking like this. You can't sprint, and you can only use one hand. So you basically have to get out as fast as you can, because if it knocks you down twice, you're dead. Also, it could chase you out to the van. Like there's only
you have to hold the door closed in the van while it's outside banging on the door. Like no, you go back inside.
I like that concept of it being able to go all the way to the van.
Yes, it's very.
If you leave the door
fun.
open, it'll go in the van.
Yes, it will go
really?
in the van.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow.
So you've got to like shut the door and hold
door.
it. The only downside is if you shut the door and then somebody else is coming out of the house and you don't open the door, they're probably gonna die. So
yeah, they will probably die.
You
have to buy
sacrifice.
maps. And you unlock the ghosts up to a certain level. Also, I cannot wait, and I want to push hard for the levels, but I want to do a multi-entity hunt. It spawns two different kind of ghosts in a zone, and you have to figure out what they are. And when you exercise one, the other one gets hyper aggressive. So you've got to try to figure out what they are.
At what level does that unlock? Because we're only like 10.
65.
Oh, Jesus. We'll be
But
waiting a
You
minute.
got a minute.
You need the high level equipment, because there's two pieces of equipment that basically tell you what's in the area.
Yeah. I saw that when we were playing with it last night in the rescue one, because I was like, oh, what's this do? Oh, it tells you all this stuff. Cool.
Yeah, like
It
you
sounds
need
like
the
they're
high level
giving-
equipment.
Sounds like they're giving you the opportunity to get the mechanics down, figure out exactly
You
how all
have
of
to
it's
do the
working.
tutorial before
go
you can play
through
the
all
game. And the
Yeah.
tutorial's not too bad, too.
Didn't we have to in Phasmo too, though?
No.
No,
I never played the Phasmo
neither did
tutorial.
I.
Oh,
I just jumped right in with the group. We're like, we'll figure it out as we go.
Pretty much. But yeah, it's a different pace from it, and I like it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. They need some more character models. All of the ladies are the same lady with a different haircut.
And all the
is it in
dudes are the
early
same dude.
access?
No, I
is it?
don't
I
think
don't
so. I don't think so.
I don't actually know.
I'm just wondering if that's something that will change.
Like, please,
Actually,
please
it
let
might
us.
be. It might be. It was on sale, and I think it's still on sale too for 50% off. So I've been
Yeah,
watching.
it's part
it
of the
be-
mystery sale.
Yes, it is
from
in early
Steam.
access right now.
Yeah, so that's probably going to change.
Oh
Because
yeah,
I
for
mean, that's
sure.
just, though annoying, it's not something that's vital.
Yeah, for sure. But
I mean,
yeah, it's in early
they
access.
the ladies look different, but when you're actually looking at the face models, it's the same lady with 3 different hairstyles and and 3 different outfits essentially. So
People love to make fun of Phasmo's like bendy back people, and it is hilarious because of how bad the animations are. But in this game, the running
it's the arms. The running animations in the arms.
It's like watching a muppet run.
Last night, Baka had
like
like one thing. I think he had like a flashlight and the spirit box or something. He was running, and his arm was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "That's not how your arm should work. It's just
Then,
flopping
the
around
elf-
there."
the elbows doing the whirlwind while they're
Yeah.
running, full sprinting away from the ghost. Oh, it's hilarious.
I would be dying just laughing at them.
It is. And it's a 6-player game.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
But you can
Not
play it
just
with
4.
various, like, you don't have to have 6. If you have, like, 3, there are smaller houses, too. Like, there are some that are, like, 1 to 3, and then some that are, like, 2 to 4, and 4 to 6, and things like that. So you can pick maps based on your party size if you feel uncomfortable trying to do the larger maps by yourself.
And the different game modes, because you've got normal, you've got rescue, you've got exorcism, multi-entity, hard. So, like, with the exorcism one, is you already know what ghost it is, but you have to go in and exorcise the ghost, but it's already aggressive, so you have to be aggressive against it, because you're going into a high caliber one. And then the hard one is, it's going to have 5 pieces of evidence, and it's going to be one of the aggressive ghosts.
Yeah.
Because right now, we're playing with all the simple ghosts that are medium to easy. When the hard ones, they get a lot more aggressive.
I don't know. That
like,
Revenant last night was pretty mean. The one that was in the
staircases,
mansion?
because
Yeah.
we kept walking on the staircase, and
Well,
that's where it was roaming.
We needed to go upstairs.
That thing was like, you touch my stairs, I kill you.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times we got abducted trying to walk up those stairs.
Kidnapped.
Just get dragged away real quick. It's funny to watch, like, one of your teammates just standing, oh my god, I'm getting kidnapped, and then just watch them get dragged down the hall.
Yeah, you're like, wait.
You're running after them.
Well, I have a problem.
Are they like on the floor getting
Well,
dragged?
the
or is
Yeah,
it-
they're on
yeah.
the floor and they drag them.
Yeah, and the
Oh, that's
Revenant's
awesome.
on the floor anyway. But I've had a problem with, like, Chicken or Baka will be like, there it is, and I can't see it. So, I don't know
Well,
what's
90%
going
of
on.
the time I'm using the neutrino gun, and with the little
It
camera
happened
screen on it.
in that house, the house
Yeah,
one
because
last night.
it was a pair of legs, and it was behind the table, and I was on the other side of the table. So I was like, there it is. I thought it was a kid ghost, but it was not. It was a
pair
it
of
was
legs.
A pair of legs. It was a memory.
The legs ghost is the funny one.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Except when it tries to kill you, and then it's like, oh my god, these pair of legs are running at me. It's like a pair of jeans, just haunted jeans.
I will say it is with the ghost, like the stand-up ghost, like the little girl at the school and the guy in the house.
The poltergeists.
You can tell that they're actually trying to murder you when they have their hands up as they're running at you. With the legs, like you don't get that visual cue.
Yeah, you don't.
It's
know.
like is it trying to get me or is it just walking? I can't tell.
Is-
Oh,
They got shoes
guess
on,
it's-
or is it
It's
bare
got shoes
feet?
on.
I was about to say if it's bare feet, maybe the toes move a certain
Yeah,
way.
I don't think so. I don't think so. That would be funny though.
That would.
Oh man, that's been a lot of fun though. It is
Yes.
like Chicken said. It's on sale right now. I don't know when that sale
It
stops.
goes off of sale in 21 hours.
Oh damn! So it'll probably be done by the time I get this posted.
Yeah,
it's
but
It's $8 or $9.71 for us, and then it's $18 regular. So
Yeah,
50%
put it on
off.
Put it
put
on
it
the
on a
wish
wish list, and
Oh yes.
yeah, you got an opportunity for it to hit a sale again for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. They just did their big update, which is why they put it on sale, the multi-entity update, and I've been enjoying it.
You can also not go through other players.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
player collision.
Ooh.
So if
Ooh,
there's like
player collision.
somebody standing in the door and you're like, no, run out, and they're just standing there, you're stuck. You're probably gonna die.
I will say that is so fucking annoying, but it adds such an interesting style to this. Because I was like, oh, I'll just teach these guys how to play in the baby map. Oh my god. There's like 8 rooms total, 4 downstairs, 4
Everybody's
upstairs,
just, like,
and trying to
bumping
do
into
that
each
with
other.
like 5 people. It's like, oh my god, get out of my fucking way. Get out of my way. And then it starts like chasing people, and it's just like, okay, there's a traffic jam in this door. Can we get the fuck out of this door? And then I just leave them. I go off into a different room and just hold the door and pray that it doesn't come after me.
I will say, you mentioned the traffic jam on the door. We also played Murder this weekend because it was Oak's birthday weekend. Happy late birthday.
Yes, we did.
And that's my favorite out of the
And-
group when we play.
There was a point where it was like, because in Gmod, there's unit collision also. And so there was 3 people standing on the stairs, and I was the murderer, and they were all arguing about something.
I just gave up. Like I think it was Snitty ahead of me, and then somebody else below me.
It
And I
was
was like,
City
well,
and
you
Red
people
and
aren't
you,
fucking.
I think.
I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna sit over here and wait for you guys to move. And then I died. I was like,
yeah, I was
whatever,
like, I
fuck
was
those
standing
two.
next to them because in this house that we were playing in, the layout, like if this was a real house, you would just murder whoever made it. Because
Oh my God, yes.
there's a stairway that goes up to the attic part, and it's right next to the door to go down the stairs to the basement, which is right next to the door to go to the kitchen. And it's like a 1-tile hallway. So there's no like way that you can scoot past anybody in any of these areas. And there was somebody in the kitchen. I was standing in the hall watching these 3 idiots on the stairs argue, and I was like, well, there's somebody in the kitchen. I wonder if I could catch them too. So I just took out my knife and like stabbed the 3 people on the stairs and ran into the kitchen and chased that person. I don't remember if I got them or not because I was too busy laughing at the murder that just happened on the stairs. Because like, well, I mean, y'all aren't going anywhere, so nobody's gonna know what's happening.
You know, it's so funny because you heard Grif describe how the house was done. And like that's what all of us were complaining about, except one person. Red would not stop complaining about the size of the outlets in the house.
Yeah, look at these outlets, you guys. Look at the
Look
outlets.
at these outlets every round. Look at the outlet. Have you looked at the outlets? The outlets are large.
It's like, yes, we know. We know that this is disproportionate. Please stand here and look at the outlets some more so that I might stab you in the back.
Oh my God. It was fun. I had a really good time with that one because we there was one of the ones that we were sitting there and I want to say Kat was the killer. And
she was the killer a lot.
Yeah, and Chicken and I were coming around a corner, and about that time, Kat was killing somebody, but you just see her leap out of the house and hit somebody next to a fence.
Yeah.
And here we go. It's Kat. Or whatever her name was for the character because they give you random character names every time.
Random character names, random colors.
Oh, it's so fun. It's Red Golf. It's Red Tango.
Yeah, like that was hilarious just watching because somebody ran out and then somebody ran right behind them, killed them, they slammed into the fence and died. And I was like, oh. Anybody else?
Yeah, no, we saw it. And then we had one point we had 3 Yankees and they were all a greenish color.
Yeah, so you're like green Yankee. You're like, which shade of green?
Shade of green.
Do you mean the one that looks like cucumber melon or the one that looks a little darker than that?
Kill them all. At one point, me and Snitty were the Blues Brothers. We're different colors with the same name, and he had the gun, so he would shoot somebody, and then I would pick up the gun and wait for him to be able to see, and then I would shoot somebody, and if I dropped the gun, he would pick it up, and we'd just go back and forth.
And because they had the same name, it was, but the bottom of the thing, it tells you who killed who. And or not who killed who, but that somebody died.
Killed a so-and-so.
Yeah, and so it popped it up, and I was like, okay, and I'm doing the counting because I'm the killer, and I'm like, there's only one person left. Maybe I can, get between the stuff, and then next thing I know, I would get shot as soon as I get in, and I'm looking at two blue sharks. I'm like, great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So good.
And as soon as I spawned in on one round, like on the diving board, Red instantly fucking shoots me.
Yeah, it was right at the start. I was like, I just had to know.
Up on the roof too, blasted you. You ended up on the roof.
Anxiety. She's like, I keep being scared that I'm gonna have
I'm gonna get
spawn
murdered
in next to Red.
Yeah.
I don't even look at like what I am when I spawn in. Like I just because I'll just scroll through and see if I've got a number 2. And, it's a number 2, and then I'll pull it out. Be like, oh, it's a knife. You're dead. All right, let's put this away and walk away. Normally, if I ever pull out the knife, I'm gonna kill whoever's next to me. Like, period. At one point, I chased Oak into the shed, just shanked him and left.
Yeah.
There was one round where Chicken was coming after me, and I was trying to pick up a green thing because that's how you have to pick up 5 of the green outlined items to get a weapon. And he was like, nope, you're the last one. And I was like, no, somebody else just picked up one. So he's like, okay, fine, I'll leave you to last. Goes off to find them, and I found a pile of bodies where there was a gun. So he didn't hear me pick up anymore, and he came back for me, and I just shot him. Like, that's what you get for leaving me.
No, like I said, I won't make that mistake twice.
Uh,
Don't get mad if I just shake your ass out of the gate.
Well, I mean, I think you did in one of the rounds after that, so it's fine. It is what it is. Also, I just noticed, because I had my Steam open to look at the Ghost Exorcism game, one of the games that we are all going to play when it comes out is available to wishlist, The Deceit 2. So don't forget to put that on your wishlist.
Yep. I will be doing that.
If you guys have not seen the Deceit 2 trailer, I think it came out yesterday or day before, go watch it. They're definitely
so
changing that
good.
game in a good way.
It's gonna be interesting to see where they go with that one.
I'm kind of excited to play. Like, Deceit's one of those games where it's like, I'm really bad at this. I don't really want to play it, but I'll play with the group because
You're
everybody
good at
else
first
likes
try.
it.
You've gotten a lot better with First Class Trouble too, and First Class Trouble and Deceit are along the same line.
They're similar, but in First Class Trouble, I don't have to try to secretly drain blood bags where there's somebody literally standing around the wall that hurt it. And,
no,
things
but
like
you
that.
need to do the insta kill things.
Yeah, but I can get far enough away to grab that. I don't have to start trying to stand next to everybody and drink. Also, I feel like with the First Class Trouble versus Deceit, the original Deceit maps, I feel like the Deceit maps are too close, which is
narrow.
They're meant to be so that you can get to people easier and things like that. But it means that I can never get far enough away to sneakily drink the blood because it's so loud. Like you hear gulp gulp from across the map.
Well, part of the reason is that we also don't play enough and unlock the talent trees all the way because the talents down at the bottom are huge for both sides. Like they significantly reduce the sound of drinking blood bags, or one blood bag counts as two. And one of them for the survivor is it tells you how long a blood bag has been drank. So there's a lot of good talents that will help you if you unlock the trees far enough.
Well, I like the look of the new survivors too, the new inmates or whatever they are in that
Experiments.
Yeah.
Well,
Although the old guy looks exactly like Sully from Uncharted. Did you notice that, Oak? Did you watch the trailer?
Yes, I did watch the
He
trailer.
looks
Now
like
I'm thinking about
Sully.
He does. The I think if I understand the concept correctly, it's supposed to be kind of like Saw in the way that it's set up, where you have a mastermind of some sort that's put himself as an arena that all this is taking place in, and in this case has just chosen to go in and murder people essentially for his pleasure. So
gross.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know, that's gonna be fun. And that's 6 to 9. I thought 6 was the cap for Deceit, wasn't it?
For Deceit, it is, yes.
Yeah. So they're adding an extra 3 players should you have that many friends. And if you do, man, I'm jealous.
Well, they're probably going Among Us style or Friday the 13th style.
Well, you could do Among Us style and add an extra terror. If you have 9 people, you could end up having 3 terrors instead of 2, things like that.
3 terrors. It depends on how they want to do with 3 terrors, because the way it works now is pretty.
It says 2. It says Deceit is a 6 to 9 social deduction horror game where 2 among you have been infected. So I think they're staying with 2.
So they're sticking with 2.
Yeah, because I think you'd have to have all 9 if you wanted to do 3, but if you had 8, that would make it unbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I don't know. It's interesting. I like it. I want to see. I like asymmetrical games. I've heard other people say that the asymmetrical genre is the worst genre ever made because there are no successful asymmetrical games besides Dead by Daylight, which they're not technically wrong.
But I guess it depends on how you define success as well, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're still playing your game. Like Damned is a really good example of one that was a really good game that did not work out.
Yeah.
It wasn't successful at all. Where I feel like if you're making a sequel to your original game, you were successful in some way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Among Us is pretty successful, and that's asymmetrical.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. That's very true.
That was wildly popular, for a long time, and people are still playing it. So I'd say that
was
definitely.
COVID happened to help that a lot because it was already a 2-year-old game when that happened. So
yeah, and everybody just.
But it got its resurgence, and it's stayed relatively popular.
Yes,
so
that's the most important part. Is it has stayed just as popular, and I still see plenty of people playing it.
I think it depends on your friend group too. A lot of people don't like the asymmetrical style because they're having to go into lobbies with randos. It's hard to find good randos in a lot of games. So I think that if you have a solid group of friends that will play the game with you, you're probably really going to enjoy that.
Probably.
Like we do when we play.
Yes. We need a huge group of Among Us night or something.
Well, Good luck with that.
Or Friday the 13th. Need more Friday the 13th in our lives. 'Cause that
We
game
get
always-
Friday the 13th one night a year. It's for Baka's birthday because that's the only time that we have some extra people that'll show up.
And on Friday the 13th, let's see, is there another Friday the 13th this year?
And now Chicken's on a mission.
Not next month. Oh, April's close, but not quite. Oh, May is close, but not quite.
Oh, come on. Does it matter?
No, oh, July
No.
is close.
There's
Next
no
year
Friday the
we've got-
13th.
Next year we've
Oh,
got
yes,
a
there
lot
is.
of July, Friday the 13th.
October. Perfect.
No shit.
It's
Perfect.
October. And then we get to play it
October.
twice in October. We'll play it 2 weeks apart because it'll be the Friday the 13th, and then 2 weeks
Hell
later is
yeah.
Baka's birthday.
Next year we're gonna have like 4 or 5 Friday the 13th because we got like 3 of them on Thursday.
Let me yell at this cat.
Yeah, the last Friday the 13th was in
Get outta here.
January.
She's like, I just want to come hang out with you.
No, kitty cat.
It's
Wow, slim pickings in 2025. There's one.
What about 2024?
There's two. September 13th and December
Oh.
13th.
that's Chicken's birthday. How convenient.
Uh huh.
Look at me. Look at me.
Yep.
Oh shit! Is my birthday on a raid day this year?
Well, it
The
doesn't.
Friday.
It's
You
not
have a raid on
so
Friday?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's on Wednesday. Yes, it is on a. It is.
Oh, this year. This year.
This year.
Oh, then yes. Haha.
Ugh. We'll be in
Okay.
ICC by then,
We'll see about that.
and then I get to retire.
You're like, I retired.
Go back to streaming regularly.
Oh yeah, night streams. Oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, but
Night
you'll be
stream.
night streaming soon. There's one Friday next month that you will not be playing with us. That you will be streaming instead because it's when Resident Evil 4 comes out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Kicking his
Definitely.
friends to the curb.
Oh yeah, for sure. You guys can all sit and chat and watch me play it. Watch me drool over one of the most incredible games released this year.
It looks so good. It
Very
really
good.
does.
And
Like it's so
Captain
clean
and
looking.
Red will probably be being played up.
That's fine. They can play. They can do whatever they want.
As long as we're sort
That
of there.
game is gonna be so good. I am so hyped for it. I can't even contain it. I have like, what is it, 25 days left before it comes out? Oh,
20. Let's see what's 26,
23rd.
27.
27
24th.
days. Okay.
It says March 24th on the thing. I don't know if there's an early day
I think it's
or
gonna
not.
be released like Thursday night or something.
because I know with like Hogwarts, you got 72 hours if you
Yeah.
pre-order. You got it 72 hours before the actual
Like,
release date.
Oh my god, I am so fucking hyped to play that game. I can't even put it into words. Every time, like when they first showed it, it was like, oh yeah, it could be good. And then as they have shown more and more stuff out of it, it's like, oh wow. Oh wow. Oh, am I ever gonna stop being surprised by how good this is? Nope. All right, just keep showing me stuff.
Nope.
Holy shit.
It looks like when they because you know how everything kind of buffers when you're watching a video. That one I watched full screen on my computer and I was like, okay, cool. And it's buffering just a little bit, so it's got a little bit of pixelation and stuff. And then all of a sudden it just cleared up when the gameplay hit, and I went, holy shit, that's clear. Like that looks so good. So good.
The details and everything, the changes to the story look so good. Every part of that game looks like it is just an improvement. So that is why I'll be playing next. Well, I'll be playing that the day that it releases. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night. I'll be busy for those 5 nights playing that game back to back to back.
For
Because
real.
holy shit!
And then he gets to work on his speed run of it.
Probably.
I don't know about speedrunning it yet. I will be playing the first Resident Evil 4 or the original 4 before that one comes out, like a few times, so that everybody can kind of soak it in and see all the parts of it, so that when we go into the new one, everyone's fresh with it, and we can all kind of be like, all right,
Not
they
a
changed
speed
this.
run, it's like an actual version where we can like.
Yeah. I'm gonna play it slower. I'll probably do a new game so that I don't have all the tricks and whatnot, but I know the game like by heart, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll just play a little more casually, tone it down.
Awesome. We want to get into some news.
Yeah, I guess like half an hour into the show is probably about time for the news, huh?
It's like one show every 3 weeks.
Well,
so
yeah, I
we
mean,
can-
for real, it would have been every other week, but Nugget was sick, so we couldn't do anything about that.
One of the things that's also happening in March, the open beta actually happening the same weekend that he's talking about, March 24th through 26th, is the open beta for Diablo 4. There's an early access that's available 17th through 19th as well. So people that are interested in playing a little bit of Diablo 4.
I will be playing it. No, I won't. Maybe I will. No,
well, if you can get
maybe.
the early access, you could play it.
I'm not getting the early access. Well, starting with early access. Oh, yeah, that's available to pre-purchase Diablo 4.
Oh,
I
okay.
am not pre-purchasing Diablo 4.
Yeah, I can't blame you there. So, but yeah, that's available. So if people are interested in that, I would definitely look into it. And that brings us into, because Diablo 4 is owned by Bethesda, which is Microsoft property.
Diablo 4 is not Bethesda. It's Activision Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard, but my brain is dead.
Like, wait the fucking hold on.
Activision Blizzard.
Brain fart. Everybody spell that here.
Yeah. And talking about Activision Blizzard, that's where I was trying to go with that. Basically, as we know, a lot of this is getting held up with the Activision Blizzard acquisition happening. UK's got issue with it. Europe's having issue with it. The FTC here in the United States is having issue with it. So part of what Microsoft is doing is they are trying to put in paper to actually sign with these different companies to say, look, for 10 years, we're going to have a contract with you to work with it, because a part of the issue too is the fact that Microsoft also has control of the cloud gaming industry as well. And so they don't want that monopoly to happen across the board. They don't think it's fair for trade. I don't disagree with that, but as long as there's an agreement that's put in, I think that kind of negates the argument a little bit. And that's kind of where we're starting on this one. Earlier this past week, they were supposed to be talking to the EU about they were going to Brussels to talk about the negotiations and how to what they need to do to make this acquisition happen. Some of the suggestions that have been given out is that Call of Duty needs to be sold off to a different company, and then they will allow it to go through, because evidently Call of Duty is such a juggernaut that decides everything on the planet.
I mean,
honestly, I'm gonna be 100% honest here. I do not think there is a company out there that can buy Call of Duty and hold it up without that being a juggernaut of a company. EA, it will collapse. Ubisoft, it will collapse. I mean, even Embracer Group, it will collapse, because Embracer Group does AA games with compare.
So Sony would hoard the fuck out of it.
Yeah, like,
well, Sony wouldn't have an option, because I think if your argument is to go in and say this, you couldn't be able to buy Call of Duty. It would have to be an independent company of some sort.
And if you broke it off completely from Activision and set up its own company, it would collapse. Like, without some sort of high-powered foundation to hold up Call of Duty, it would collapse. Like, it's either keep it as its own entity right now, or let it go to Microsoft, or just fucking hope that it can swim on its own, which I think it's too heavy to swim on its own at this point. Like, I mean, woo, I really do not think I could see it breaking off from Activision Blizzard and being able to sustain, because you would watch a quality drop in Call of Duty significant.
I mean, but at the same time, like, maybe that's what needs to happen. If it's that big of a deal, just cut it off. Let it fall by the wayside so that other games can come up and fill the need.
I'm actually 100% with you too. Like, Call of Duty being the juggernaut it is, maybe sometimes, Rome needs to fall, and so that the cities around it can flourish.
Maybe, I mean, you could. I mean, Microsoft goes, no problem, man. Not only are you're not gonna have to worry about it, we're just taking it off the market altogether.
Yeah, that would be so funny. Microsoft be like, all right, fine, look, we'll sign an agreement right now that says that we will not publish another Call of Duty game.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is then they'd be like, but you're keeping the developers of it, so you're just going to make a clone. I mean, make your own clone then.
Yeah, I know, right? Everybody's starting over again. Fuck it, let's go. Call of Duty dies. We start over with something different.
Mm-hmm. Well, and here's the thing.
Dial-up of duty.
Part of and part of this to people from the outside listening to us talk about this sounds like we are 100% Microsoft people. Everything that's
No, I
happening.
just am tired of talking
But
about this, and it's one goddamn game.
What
Let it go.
But it needs to be pointed out that Brad Smith from Microsoft came out earlier this week with the announcements that we're going to talk about here in a second. But one of the things he said in that announcement was that currently, right now, Microsoft Studios that they currently own have 58 games that are on the PlayStation. In return, Sony has 2 games that are currently on the Xbox. So if you've got 58 games that are on your competitor and the other one has 2,
What are the 2 games?
one of them is going to be MLB The Show. I know that. I do not know what the other one's going to be.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. I thought maybe you knew already. Sorry.
No, I knew the show. I looked it up, and the show's the only one that popped up. So I'm not really sure which one he's talking about, the other one. But I'm sure it's the only thing I could think about would be what's the game that you like so much where you're sliding on the rails and stuff?
Sunset Overdrive.
Yes.
Oh, because it's Insomniac Sony
yep.
owns them now. Yeah.
Yep. That would be the only other thing I could think of.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You might be right, actually.
Mm-hmm. And then you have,
I would say what's the 58, but I don't think we want to list that many.
No, I'm not listing that. Minecraft is the only one I can name off the top of my head.
Minecraft. I guess now, if
games.
Yeah, if you could put it retroactively like you did with Sunset Overdrive, you'd have Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Any of those games that are on there.
Deathloop was a Sony exclusive before it was released on Xbox, which is a Bethesda game. I can't really
even offered Sony Call of Duty on the PlayStation Plus. They're like, cool, you want to put it on your fucking Game Pass thing? Go ahead. Anything that you want, you could go ahead and have Call of Duty any way that you want it. And they're like, no, no, we don't want it. Like, what the fuck are you complaining?
Yeah, he actually, so during that same announcement thing, he actually out of an envelope pulled out the contract, a 10-year contract for Sony, and Sony won't even talk about that contract.
Because Sony wants the image to be Microsoft will take it from us versus the image being Microsoft's offering it to us, but we don't want it.
Right, which is I think why Brad Smith had a press conference and came out and made these announcements. Which the 2 announcements that we're going to talk about today is the fact that they've signed that contract with Nintendo to guarantee Call of Duty for 10 years on Nintendo. They've also signed it with NVIDIA which I didn't know anybody played the NVIDIA's cloud service.
Do they? What is it even called? What is that thing
It's
called?
the GeForce Now or something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The other thing that they got in trouble for.
Yeah. So they signed that one as well. So now they're not just a cloud service on their own client on Windows. You can have, if you're a PC player, you have another option as well to be able to play the game.
And I don't think this deal is going to be for the Switch because it's Microsoft and Nintendo. It will be.
Well, that's
Nintendo's
why it's 10 years
console.
Because they're not going to keep the Switch for 10 years. It has to be.
Next console you're going to see next year around the holidays. You'll see the first parts of it coming up this next year, maybe at the end of this year, because we were right at the end of their 7-year cycle. So whatever is coming out after the Switch will be announced very soon. And it's probably just going to be a massively improved version of the Switch. But Nintendo doesn't do super well if their consoles aren't like extraordinarily different from them. Because you got Nintendo to Super Nintendo to the 64 to the GameCube to the Wii. The Wii U failed because it wasn't different enough. And then you have the Switch. Like, so far their track record is that when they do a different console, new hardware, it's significantly different.
But Nintendo's also done away with the handheld market, which was what their other big area was.
So whatever this thing is that comes out next is going to fill that void again, but it's going to be more powerful than the Switch.
Well, and I think you could do. I mean, they did that. They were successful enough with the like the 2DS, 3DS, and all that stuff. That handheld market wasn't much of a difference. But it was available for retro stuff on that as well, right? So if you had one of the previous cartridges, you could put it into whatever the newer model was, correct?
Not their console wise.
No. I'm talking about the handhelds.
Most of the handhelds, like when the transition between Game Boy Advance and DS happened, there was that slot at the bottom still. So like the DS Lite had the slot for the Game Boy Advance games, and then shortly after they started doing away with that slot altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm trying to figure out like how they could improve the Switch, short of removing the dock and just having it completely wireless all the time, to where when you're done, you just sit it down, or I don't know, like how.
But I mean, the
I-
dock
do
is
they-
so that it can attach to your TV, right? So
Right. All you do is put a USB in your TV, and boom, anytime, anywhere, you just push a button on your new console, and it just switches to the TV instead of having the dock with wires
okay,
or
yeah,
anything.
I guess I could see that.
I mean, that's a possibility. I think the only problem you'd run into that is,
Not all TVs have USBs.
well,
yet.
but also sending something wirelessly that way is going, because you're sending a video signal from the device
lag
to
it
the
might
actual
get.
television.
the lag it would
You're
create.
gonna have a lag issue and a power issue. You're gonna eat your battery up real quick. And I think the advantage you had before was the fact that you had those two detachable Joy-Cons while the main machine actually sat in the dock and sent that over while it was charging.
Maybe
You're still gonna need that
a
charging option.
dock that lays down of some form or something. I don't know. They
Maybe.
should just plug it, like you plug it in, or it's plugged into the wall, but the sending signal is wireless. I don't know, like
Maybe.
because Nintendo comes up with something new every time they come up with the hardware. So it's,
Well, and they're gonna have to have something. If you're guaranteeing 10 years of Call of Duty,
you got to have something strong.
you're gonna have to have something a whole lot stronger than what you currently do.
I wonder if they're going to go back to like, because they've got the handheld console. Okay,
Mhm.
so think they don't get rid of the Switch. They keep producing for the Switch because it's good. That's their handheld. What if they make a docked, like powerful hardware system again?
Maybe. I mean, that would be different
Possible.
enough to be able to go back in.
Exactly. They go back,
think-
but they're leaving the Switch as their mobile one, but they're going back to like a stationary style system again.
And still have Joy-Cons for whatever their new machine is, and
Exactly.
or something similar, and then
Right.
and then go to going back to what Baka was just talking about, with the cartridges being able to be moved. Make it to where I've bought the cartridges for the Switch. I bought your new system.
And you can
I want to
use
be able to
them-
use my Switch, but allow me to be able to plug it into these cartridges into this and be able to play.
There you go.
Maybe I can see
Or-
that be anything.
Yeah, like maybe a powerful dock system to where you could
Mhm.
either play it like by itself, or you could plug your Switch into it and upgrade your games, kind of like how Sony has like the improved version of their games and the normal version
Mhm.
of their games.
Because they
I
did
could-
with the GameCube didn't allow anything previous to attach to it, but the GameCube to the Wii allowed for the GameCube stuff to go inside the Wii, correct?
Yeah. You could use the small discs inside the Wii, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I could see him doing that, because I think the biggest problem any of us have ever had with Nintendo is the backwards compatibility
Yes,
issue.
that's always
And the
been
fact
their
that I've
issue.
already purchased this shit from your online store, don't charge me for it again. But I still buy this stuff anyway because
Don't
I
you
want to
charge
play it on the
me.
new stuff.
I think that's where they might go, like a powerful docked version of their Switch. Like you can either buy it separate, use it by itself, or it has a slot where you could slot your Switch in and still play your Switch games on this powerful enhancement part of the system. So
Right.
it still gives them use for the Switch, lets them produce games for both, or one time for both versions, and it gives people who own a Switch a reason to buy this upgraded version, and people who don't have a Switch, they could just buy this.
Keep in mind the current handheld market as well, which you've got the Steam Deck. So
Mhm.
Steam Deck is a
Deck's
very
like the
powerful
only,
machine, and if that's where
competitor.
we're at with handhelds right now, it is a possibility that that's what your next Switch would look like as well.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I'm
and you-
very interested. Nintendo is always the one that I look forward to seeing what they've got cooking.
mhm. Yeah, I think
But-
I think other than the Wii U, they've pretty much hit a home run. Like I remember when the Wii came out, like when
Oh my
everybody came
God.
away from E3 with the Wii and they had the
Oh my god.
the motion controllers. Everybody
That-
was like, "These are amazing," you know.
That fucking year, like the Wii is like the strongest selling console next to their DS. I think it was like, God, the
It was
Wii
such a
changed
hit.
gaming in general.
For like
Well,
2 years,
everybody
you
could
couldn't
play
find
it.
them.
Yeah, no shit. The same thing with the Switch. For like 2 years, you had a hard time trying to find those things because they were just
Yeah, well,
sold
during
out
2020
constantly.
especially, 2020
Yeah.
especially,
Oh,
because people
yeah.
wanted them to be able to, because you had Animal Crossing that came out
Oh,
in 2020
God.
as well, and then you had people staying at home and they wanted to be able to play something, and that was the cheaper of the consoles, so you couldn't trying to get them was hard to do. So
Mhm. Nintendo consoles always sell so hot.
Well, and you
And
had
same thing with
kids
the
at
game.
home too, so you were like, "Oh, give me something to entertain these little monsters for 5 minutes." I say that knowing that I have a little monster sometimes too. So
Mhm. Yeah. Well, we
want more fucking Toy Story.
That's what do you think he's watching right now upstairs, I'm sure.
But yeah, the next Nintendo console should be powerful enough to be able to play these Call of Duty games, because the Microsoft and I'm sure PlayStation, everybody inside the companies have already seen what the other companies are working on. So Microsoft must have some good faith, have seen what Nintendo's working with, and to make a 10-year deal.
Some of it too, though, is that the regulators that are looking at these issues, these antitrust issues, some of their decision making is based on the feelings of the industry. And Microsoft's trying to be like, look, there are people in the industry on our side, but I really don't think that Nintendo and Nvidia are the two that you really need on your side, since the main concern is that there's an issue with Sony.
Yeah, but Sony is not being a player here.
No, Sony is not. They're not going to be, because they feel like it's not in their best interest. But
I think your argument you go into a court with is, if Sony's the one that's like, hey, look, they're going to take the shit. They've proven time and time again. Look at their new games for Bethesda that were supposed to come on our console. Now they're not. Now we're butthurt. This is why I shouldn't do it. I think your argument is like, look, we've got a contract with Nvidia. We've got a contract with Nintendo. How many Sony games are on both of those?
We've got a contract with Sony that they haven't signed yet.
Yeah.
But it's also very bold on Microsoft's part to be like, we're making contracts for a game that we don't actually own yet.
It's basically a promise.
Yeah, it's a promissory note.
It's
like, we will do this if we are allowed to purchase this thing.
Exactly. It's basically
old promise ring days, man. 17, 18-year-old kids been together. I promise you one day we'll get engaged and get married. We'll just have to see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel pretty confident that this is going to go through. And like, Microsoft is constantly trying to adjust things. What was their last ditch effort one?
This was their last ditch effort, wasn't it?
No, it was the Nintendo one, and then they wanted them to sell off King.
Or they wanted them to buy only King.
Yeah, only buying Activision. Yeah. One of the suggestion was for them to only buy King from
which is
Microsoft
the Candy Crush
Blizzard.
people, right?
Yeah, mobile game area. Yep.
Yeah, their mobile game area. It's like, okay, fine, you can only buy King. Let's do it like that. And it's like, no, we're gonna get the whole thing. Which I would like anybody else to own Blizzard than Activision Blizzard at this point.
I think one of the things too is it's like, okay, y'all are all upset because you want them to only buy this piece or only buy this piece or not that piece. If it's that big of a deal that there's that many big pieces, how come you're not yelling for it to be separated already? Why was it not a big deal that all of these are under the same umbrella already?
Right.
Now you're just worried about it being under a different umbrella, but still together.
Deal with when they bought King.
What is the current status of WoW? Is it still considered, especially with it and the retail and classic together, is it still considered, like, numbers wise, the top of all MMOs?
I don't think so.
I'd say probably. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna Google. I'm not sure. Because, I mean, if you combine classic and retail, it's still going to be somewhat up there, but I guess then it's like, what else is the competitor?
Yes, right now it is, as far as we know, but they've stopped releasing sub numbers, so these are rough estimates. World of Warcraft has 2.38 active players, million, of course. And then old school RuneScape is number 2 with 1.8 million.
Right.
Active players, and then Final Fantasy IV, then Path of Exile, and then down and down and down from there.
Then it's they actually have it split up. If you click on that list, it's World of Warcraft, Old School RuneScape, Final Fantasy, Path of Exile, Destiny 2, and then World of Warcraft Classic. So they have those two split. So technically, WoW has 2 on the top MMOs.
How many are in the Classic?
786.81 thousand.
So
I'm glad you said that number.
800,000 basically.
Yeah, 800,000 on that alone.
And then you said it was 2.3 million, right?
Yeah, 2.3 million. So yeah, they're sitting at like 3 million active subs. Take. All right, I'm gonna do some quick math real quick. So they've got 3 million subs.
Right.
Okay. Times. We're going to go with the most expensive version of the game cost, which is $15 a month. That game alone makes $45 million a year. or a month. Sorry, $45 million a month.
Can I make $45 million a month?
Right.
I'll work one month to be done.
And their revenue right now is $7.53 billion. So,
all right.
But Sony's not upset about that because they can't put Warcraft on their console.
Right. As of April 2021, so this is this was written in October of this year, this past year, but as of April 2021, the Call of Duty series has generated more than 400 million lifetime unit sales. It looks like monthly active users for Call of Duty games the fourth quarter of 2020 was at 100 million. So it's definitely the juggernaut.
That's across all platforms too, right?
That's correct. It does not give a breakdown. I would like to know how many. I would argue that most of them are playing on PlayStation, which is why
those are all single target buys too, not monthly, because monthly always turns people off. Like that's still a lot of monthly players. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I know Microsoft's a big juggernaut, but if they get to acquire all of Activision Blizzard, they are gonna have their hands more full than they could have ever imagined. Because you have to manage Blizzard running World of Warcraft, Overwatch League, and everything else inside of there with all of that. And like, oh my God, there's going to be so much reorganization.
That's why I think, because they're putting Phil at the head, right? Because he's Microsoft Games head. They'll put him there at the head, and then he'll put whoever his person is for that he believes in to be able to right the ship, if you will, for Activision Blizzard. So
like he's going to need a lot of people. Like you're going to have to, the captain of this ship, and you're going to have to put a point in every single one of those companies.
But I mean, he's got, if you think about it, yes, he's going to, but it's one of those where currently he's managing all these other ones as well. And I think that the good thing is it's the problem you're going to have is somebody that has to replace Phil when he retires.
Ooh.
Because
he is already training whoever is going to take him over.
God, I hope so.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's got his right hand man who is just, or woman, whoever it is, just following him around, going, "This is what we do. This is how we manage things. This is why things are working well. What do you think we should do?" Like
people thought the same thing with Disney and Bob Iger, and then Chapek took over and ruined 15 years worth of work in 2 years, and they had to bring Iger back. So we'll see.
And this is why you look at Disney and go, "That was wrong. Do it this way."
Yeah. Hopefully they learn from Disney's mistakes on that one.
Yes, but keep an eye on other companies, so when they fuck up, you're like, perfect example. They're fucking up. Let's not do that.
Yeah, but it's going to be very interesting to see how that kind of all turns out for sure. It's definitely one of those where I want to see what other concessions that they have to give, if this is going to be enough or not. Actually, one of our articles even talks about that. What do they need to do next in order to be able to kind of help this go through? I mean, a 10-year contract, like extend it to 15. Like, what do you do?
I mean, the problem is it doesn't matter what you offer Sony. They're going to say no, and that's going to be your biggest obstacle is Sony will not stop yelling. And so, the thing is does Sony actually get to shout down this acquisition? Is that what's actually going to happen and play out here? And at that point, if you're Activision Blizzard, are you like, well, we were kind of counting on this because we're straining ourselves as it is? Do you do the shake up where you're like, all right, King, you go your way, Blizzard, you go your way, Activision's got this shit here, who wants to buy these pieces?
I'll be 100% on it. If Sony wants to play like that and just be a little ass, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft was like, okay, we're going to separate these companies and then separate them out and then fucking bring them under the Microsoft umbrella. Like, they're not we didn't purchase them. They're their own company, but we're investing in that company now, and they're going to make Microsoft games.
They could do that, but also here's the thing is that they're like, okay, you can buy all this. You can't buy all this stuff with Call of Duty attached. Then you go, Activision Blizzard, separate Call of Duty. Call of Duty, you're ours. That's how I'd handle that shit. Leave
like,
Activision Blizzard, King, and everything else. You turn around. It's
I don't like Call of Duty. I'm just tired of this.
That like you talk about doing dirt. Like at that point, and then you create exclusives for Call of Duty too. Be like, all right, we're gonna make exclusives. We're gonna do stuff for Microsoft. We tried so hard to work with PlayStation, but they want to be an ass. So screw it.
Mm-hmm.
Here we
Oh
go.
yeah, and it's going to be PC and Xbox only. The stuff and Nintendo. You
Yeah.
just do, and your Nvidia, all this stuff. That's where all your stuff's at. And like, sorry, Sony,
We
didn't do
offered
We
it to
tried.
you.
We tried to help
Constantly, and
you.
wanted to mess with this so bad that you're going to end up literally blasting your own foot off.
Yeah, like and even let's say it can't go through. None of that shit happens, but none of it can go through the way that it's set up currently. And Call of Duty has to be separated out and all that. Somebody else ended up purchasing Call of Duty, which is probably going to be in Tencent or some shit. If I'm Microsoft, any deal Sony wants to make from then on out to buy somebody, I'm going straight at them every
You
time.
can't do that. That's infringing on us. You can't do that. It's infringing
Yep.
on us.
With your
yeah.
$1.3 trillion or whatever that company's worth now, I've nearly bottomless pockets worth of stuff going after Sony, who was nearly bankrupt 4 years ago.
Oh yeah, you just keep hitting them, man. If they want to play like that about it, no.
It's just a dumb way to go. But and it, like Sony's got great exclusive, and that's part of what Brad Smith said. They've got great exclusives. They're
Let 'em have it.
fantastic.
I mean,
We can't get into any of them, but they're good. We're allowing all of our games to be on their system. I'm fine with it. No problem.
well,
Yeah, I mean,
most
it's
of
just-
their games, stuff like Gears and Halo, their flagships aren't going to go over there, but
But yeah.
it's because
Yeah,
you've
but they've
got to
got-
have something.
Yeah,
I
so you've
guess.
got to have flagships, but they're not even meeting Microsoft halfway or even a quarter of the way. They got like 90-10 percentage for games available. It's like, okay, you get like 1 or 2 Sony games and you get like 100 Microsoft games. Okay, that does not work, but whatever. But I mean,
Well, it's 58-2 as according to the.
Well, so one out of 29. There you go. One out of every 29 games.
but I mean, it's funny that nobody goes after Nintendo, but Nintendo for the most part plays nice.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
it doesn't
Nintendo's
rock
just
the
over
boat.
there playing by themselves. You just leave them
Yeah.
alone, okay?
All of their games are exclusives.
Yeah.
But they allow everything to come to their console. Like, cool, we'll work with anybody, everybody, doing all sorts of things and things like that and whatnot. But Nintendo games are made and designed specifically for Nintendo. So
I couldn't imagine playing like Call of Duty or something streaming through the cloud system onto a freaking Nintendo Switch. I mean, just like playing a multiplayer. I mean, I know they have Apex currently on there. They've got Fortnite. They've got games that do this, but it's just like,
I don't want that.
and they work apparently well.
Yeah.
So it's just that
Like-
the infrastructure needs to work a little bit further into the future, as we call it.
I guarantee you, whatever servers the Call of Duty or the cloud service that Xbox is using, that's exactly how it would be transferred over, and they do a great job with their cloud service. But you're going to have pretty decent internet to be able to play with the cloud service.
Oh yes.
So, but at least it's a good option. As we move on, one of the things we need to follow up on, we had talked about before, there was a gentleman that was 17 years old that created a company called Aim Junkies that went after, created a cheat for Destiny and was selling them at, Chicken looked this up earlier, it was $35 per month, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, $35 a month. to be
Subscription
subbed to
service for
the
$35 per month. And we did the math. If you, for 1 year, if the 2,097 downloads, we'll say those are accounts, and people pay 35, the person made $1.1 million. The lawsuit has now been, I guess, what's the word? Settled, I guess. I don't know how you did say on that one, but there is $4.4 million is what Destiny maker developer Bungie is owed from this. So and that is when it's broke down, that's $3.6 million in damages, $783,000 in fees,
Ooh,
which I'm assuming is
the legal fees.
the legal court fees. So yeah, 4.4 million. And yeah, that is,
Intense.
don't do bad things, guys. Like,
Don't be stupid, stupid.
yeah, just don't. But since we have covered that on the show, we wanted to make sure that everybody kind of knew the outcome of that. So 4.4 million at 17 years old. And if everybody remembers, there was a countersuit that was involved in this as well. And they lost their countersuit.
Well, of course.
Yeah. And you know, mom over there was all about her son. My son's not in the bad. My son's not in the wrong. If I cannot remember what the article exactly said, but basically that was it.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
I find that funny that he was all mad because they accessed his computer. It's like they were tracing where you are so that they could sue your ass instead of cease and desist.
Yep. And I am sure on everything that we never read, terms of agreement, when we hit the little button, scroll, accept.
Yeah, it's like I don't
says
care.
in there you gave it permission.
See, I feel somewhat safer doing that because I don't intend on doing anything bad. So
Pretty much.
you know.
I read some of them sometimes because I usually go to the personal information part and see what they're trying to
Collecting.
access. Yeah, it's like, what are you accessing? Because if you're accessing stuff only while I'm running the game, or because sometimes they will word it to where it's like, yeah, we reserve the right to access your computer even during downtime to make sure that your computer runs in proper functionality and it's not just a glitch in our game. It's like,
Nope, I don't want you to do that.
no, I don't like that.
I don't think you will.
No.
They want to put in some kind of malware to fucking spy on every little thing.
I didn't
Epic
put
Games?
this article in, but I did talk to Grif about it earlier. Valve did a honeypot for Dota 2.
Mm-hmm.
They because there was a backdoor or a window that some people found that they could get into the personal information into Dota 2 during games, information that you're not allowed to see. It's like background RAN stuff. And these people figured out how to get that and show it during games. It's like goal differences and things like this, like stuff behind the scenes that you're not supposed to know while playing.
Mm-hmm.
And Valve realized it a few weeks later and was like, oh, so they patched in a fix but didn't actually fix it. They put a tracer on there and let it go for about a week and let people continuously use that bug. And then they patched it right after that and banned all 40,000 accounts.
Oh, wow. Wow. 40,000 people?
40,000
Wow.
people doing bad things.
Yup. So they left the window open and set up a trap and was like, all right, let's see who we get. Cool. All these accounts banned permanently. It's like, wow.
Stop being so bad.
Because they thought they were getting away with it too after the patch came out and it was still working. None of them were like, this seems suspicious.
Right.
Valve is smart. Like, come on, you got to give companies the benefit of the doubt for the most part. Because if you're using an exploit, they're more than likely going to find out. And in Bungie's case, it could be a $4.4 million
Especially when
problem.
40,000 people are playing. Because here's the thing. Like, if I figure something out, okay, and I'm using that exploit, and I'm the only person that's figured that out, it's very hard to find that somebody's using that exploit. Because I'm not talking to anybody, I'm not telling anybody, and it most likely is not going to show up anywhere in their system. Now, 40,000 people are using it. Now it puts a bug into the system, and how did we get to 40,000? Well, we got to 500, and 500 told 2 people each, right? And then it just expedited to get to 40,000. So it's like
balloon.
Exponentially grew.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, I'm pretty sure the people at Valve had to laugh at that, be like, look at these idiots.
A little bit.
Banned them all. Well, that's that.
We were talking about Microsoft earlier in the Xbox. Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out and is in development for Xbox, but they're having a problem right now to where the game in co-op mode will not run on the Series S. It'll run on the X, but it won't run on the S. And this goes back to basically the Series S being the Xbox One X Plus. Like, it's not quite the Series up to the Series X when it comes to how powerful it is.
So is the Series S that much weaker than the X?
Yes.
Why did they
is.
release that then? Like, what's the point if
cheap
it
version.
runs it roughly
Because
the
it's-
same as the Xbox?
Because it's
One?
like $250 versus paying $500 for it. It was to get consoles in, because now you can, if you're running their Game Pass and you have the internet to be able to run their streaming system, their service, then it doesn't matter, because now they're running it on an Xbox One X at a server and sending it to you, and so you're still getting the same quality you normally would.
This makes me wonder if Nintendo will do something like their new console, do a bundle with a Switch and the new console, or you could just buy the console and use your old Switch. because it's just going to be the older, weaker one, and then you could just use it on the new thing. But I guess
Maybe.
it's the cheap version of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to try to get people to purchase to have an Xbox in their house, essentially. And which, I mean, a lot of the games and stuff I don't have an issue with. Like, I have one in my bedroom because it's the one that I have in my bedroom. It's a backup. If I want to play a little bit of Xbox games, I can play the games with no problem. And a lot of times I've got good internet, so I'll use the streaming service. So I don't have to, because it's only got like a 500 gig hard drive on it, which is half of a game nowadays.
I really think they should just drop the requirement from it, because I remember back in the day, Xbox had the arcade version of the 360, which was just
Well, I
bad.
mean, really, the
It was
reason
just
that you
the
bought the
arcade
arcade
version.
is because you had a hard drive from an Xbox that red ringed, so you were essentially buying it just the shell because you needed the shell, not because it was the arcade and you were actually going to do anything with it as the arcade.
Right.
Though there were parents that bought it thinking,
didn't
oh, well,
understand.
they'll just use a memory card. That's still not enough.
Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you in 2 weeks when you need to get that hard drive.
Sorry for $120.
Yeah, so this the Series X has 12 teraflops against 4 for the Series S. Because but like the PS5 just took the disk drive out.
I feel like I look at it as that's Microsoft going, we'll make extra money this way because people will be dumb enough to buy this one because it's cheaper, and then realize, well, it doesn't do what I want it to, and then they'll have to buy the other one, and we will have sold them 2 consoles instead of 1.
Maybe they haven't had a problem until this, at least that's been announced. They haven't had a problem, an issue up until this point. So I see it being a continual issue as things move on. But I think they'll end up with, just like when they went from an Xbox One to an Xbox One X, I think we're about 2 years away from the Series X and Series S getting their next version of that as well.
Yeah, because as everybody can tell, they're staying away from Nintendo releases now. Like, it's like Nintendo's coming out with something, do it a couple years down the road. Just let them have their window and just leave them alone. And then Sony and Microsoft will compete against each other, because nobody wants to compete against Nintendo. They're just their own garden. Let them tend to it. We'll do it a couple years later.
Well, and it'd be like the PS5 will come out with a Pro version.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, but the difference is, again, the PS5 said Sony was like, we're just going to remove the disc drive. So if those people who want to be digital, we're going to give them a digital option, but we're just removing the disc drive. We're not going to change anything up. I mean, I'm sure we're going to end up with a slim version of the PS as well, because we usually end up with a slim version of PS. But I don't know what they're going to do with the Xbox Series X, because it's kind of a weird shape anyway. Like, do you make one that's the same shape as the S? Because
it's probably going to be the Xbox Series Y.
Yeah, probably.
So why?
Can we please get a better naming scheme? This series bullshit is so stupid.
Yeah,
Series
I don't.
Z or something like that, like the final one of this generation or something. They're just going to make a more powerful version of what this is already.
Like, just don't do the series thing. It's like,
But
I don't know what this shit means.
The article, they definitely, if it is that much of a problem, they need to like just leave it as you have an option to develop this. We'll invest more or less, like depending on. But games shouldn't be held up because you can't run it on the low version, and now you're not going to get one on the high version of it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I don't think that's what I didn't think that they thought that was going to end up happening, I guess, in this particular case. Because it sounds like the game works fine as long as you're, playing online type deal or whatever. But I think the co-op is, I don't know if the co-op is online or if it's like if you're like a split screen type thing for that one. Does it really say? It just says co-op, right?
They say a number of developers have tried to stop
split
or
screen.
to drop it.
Yeah, it's the split screen co-op to work. That's where they have a problem. So.
Okay,
Wow.
so Gotham Knights, 30 FPS. Oh, Gotham Knights was confirmed to run at a maximum of 30 FPS because it was released on the lower console too.
Yep.
That's why, like, releasing it, whatever it's released on the S, it has to be to the X too, because it's the only way they could get it to run on both.
I think what you do is you come out with another console that's, if you want to do your Series S or whatever, but you come out with another console version of that is just as powerful as the X. At the same time, you're coming out with whatever your new version of the X is.
Or create a new version of the console, drop your X to the cheaper one, S even cheaper, and then sell your new one.
Maybe. But I mean, we're still, we're 4 years into the cycle now for them?
Yeah.
This is
4 years into this one.
Was it 22? It came out in 2020, right?
The Xbox Series S? I thought it was 2019.
Because I want to say it was during COVID.
I'm pretty sure it was 2019. Because it was right before the pandemic.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't want to buy one. I want to look at when.
Oh, that's right. Because 2019 was 2019 because then we're already having a hard time getting these, and then there's a supply chain issue in 2020 and such, right? I believe that was part of the discussion.
Worldwide release was November 10th, 2020, 2 years ago.
So it was 2020.
Yeah, it was 2020.
They released it the year before their anniversary. Okay. So we're not even dealing with 3 years yet.
Nope.
So the 2 years in was when they were supposed to stop building things for the Xbox One. And the
Xbox One feels so long ago.
Ours is finally serving the purpose that Microsoft wanted out of it, though. It's like, we want this to be your entertainment hub, and it's like, okay, now it is used for Disney Plus and watching Toy Story DVDs because
original release date for the Xbox One was 2013.
You got your way, Microsoft. It is now an entertainment system.
So we're 10 years this year.
Yeah.
10 years. That is why it feels so long ago.
Because it was.
They were on a 10-year cycle before, though, right? And then they changed?
Well, technically, it would be a 3-year or 7-year cycle because they released the Xbox One S in 2020. So that was 7 years exactly.
No, I'm talking about their major console release. So it'd be so the Xbox 360 was released when?
Let me find
the original.
Long time ago.
The Xbox 360?
Yeah.
2005.
Okay. So 8 years.
8 years for that one.
Okay.
But it's because they released the Pro version and the upgraded version for the 360 later on.
Right.
The different versions of it.
Yeah,
so
they upgrade them on there. The PlayStation's done that as well.
Mm-hmm.
For stuff. So
they released that one. And the Xbox, which was in 2001. So it was 4 years, then 8 years, then 7 years.
Well, they were a cycle behind PlayStation. PlayStation already had theirs out before then. So they got I want to say they released just before the PlayStation 2 came out is when the Xbox came out. I watched the whole documentary on it, but I can't remember.
You're asking for times and dates, and I can't do that.
I ain't got time for that shit now.
I can't remember numbers. Everything feels like a long time ago if it was more than 2 days.
While he's looking that up, since we are talking about Sony also had their State of Play, and they showed off a ton of games for their new VR system. None of them I'm really interested in, but they.
I looked through the list and it's like, okay. I mean, I already know Street Fighter is coming out, but I'd probably buy that on the PC over anything really. But
right, the Resident Evil 4 stuff. That's where we got the footage on it. It looks really, really good. The Suicide Squad. That's gonna be. I'm gonna buy on sale at some point, and probably play it on PC. It might be 3 years from now, 4 years from now. It's going to depend on the reviews. But their VR stuff, they're getting Green Hell VR, which is currently on PC. And the other games, like Journey to Foundation, as well as.
We're definitely seeing a new Nintendo console this year, 100%. This year we will see it.
So you think E3, that's what we're going to have?
Looking back through their lifetime of upgrades, it's been between 5 to 6 years between releases all the way up to the Switch. This is year 6 for them, which means we will be seeing a new Nintendo console. Because it was 80... 85, 91, 96, 2001, 2006, 2012, and then 2017.
When does the new Zelda come out?
The new Zelda, the Breath of the Tear of the
Yeah, whatever the sequel to the Breath of the Wild was.
Tears of the Kingdom, May 12th of 2023.
Okay.
This year. So they're going to sell it, do the new console, sell it again.
Sell it again, like they did last time.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will definitely see. I wouldn't, at this point, like seeing their timeline, I would not be surprised if we see a new Nintendo console on sale for holidays this year.
I wouldn't either.
They better announce it soon then.
Oh, Nintendo, they announce it, sell it right away.
They'll sell it on E3. E3 we'll get the announcement then.
They're not going to E3. It's been confirmed. Which means they might have a press conference. They'll
do their little video.
And then they'll
not gonna
hype that motherfucker up for the next 6 months and then just slam them out.
Yeah, because Ubisoft is going.
Because they just did
not a whole lot
Metroid Prime, and they have already announced they're going to remake 2 and 3 as well.
Oh yeah, they're going to sell that as a bundle on the new Nintendo console.
And then we'll get a new Mario Kart. It'll be Mario Kart 8 plus or something.
Golden Mario Kart Plus.
We got to have all the Mario Kart.
Smash Brothers.
But yes, it will absolutely. Like I feel very confident to know that we will be seeing that new Nintendo console sometime this year.
Because we haven't had an announcement for a new Mario game, right? Like a new.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
They were going to do an Odyssey 2.
They might do an Odyssey 2.
Right. I think that's a rumor, though, right? They haven't really said.
I don't think we've seen confirmation on that.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those everybody that played it is hoping that it exists.
Yes, exactly. It was so good.
Okay, so there was a press email sent out from Nintendo at the start of 2023 that hinted that they might be working on a Super Mario Odyssey 2.
Okay, there's your bundle.
So
that's your launch title.
Oh,
that's your launch title.
No, you do that. That one's a new game, and then you slide in the new Legend of Zelda game with it too. You get the double bundle. The one, if you already have it, no big deal.
And Mario Kart, that'd be the trifecta.
The trifecta right there, where you just move fucking consoles as much as possible, and Nintendo will do it.
Well, I mean, and the thing is like it'll be interesting to see if they stick with the like we were talking about, the mobile version of that, or they go to something that's got more of a foundation to it. But we'll just have to see.
I really think they're gonna do a foundation style with this one. I really think so. They need something powerful.
Go back to discs.
Well, they'll probably keep with their. Well, I don't know. They might go to discs, but also leave a spot for their cartridges, or make it so that you can hook the Switch up to it too.
Yeah, they need to make it to where everybody that's got a Switch, because you've got to have it to where people are going to go, oh, I can play this game and it's upgraded.
Yes, they have to make sure that they keep the Switch useful with this next one, because I mean, you move so many of those and they're still super good.
Well, that's when you go to back to Microsoft and you go, okay, look, we had Doom on our Switch. How from like 2015 or whatever, and we had it on there. How can we upgrade this to play on a television where it looks different, it looks decent, and is highly playable? And then you'd go to some of your other companies and do the same. I'd be interested to see what's in that contract, that 10-year contract. Right? It's like what kind of deal besides Call of Duty has been thrown in there? So, because you're gonna have to have better graphics.
I sit there eating popcorn, watching the Nintendo one, going, "What are they going to release? What are they going to release?" And then Microsoft and Sony, it's like, who's going to throw the first punch? Who's going to throw the first punch? Let them slug it out.
Yeah, because June is when the deal is supposed to be completely done. So this is going to be, we're getting close.
Yeah, we'll find out soon.
We're getting real close.
Very close.
Anything else for today?
No.
I think that's it.
Awesome. We do appreciate everybody that hangs out with us each and every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Grif.
At Grif Slime.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken through and through.
Check out Baka.
And Baka Pickle.
Mostly on
Also,
Discord, though. I don't think any of us have been on Twitter in like I probably haven't been on Twitter in almost a year now. So if
Well,
you want me,
I'm on Twitter.
Yeah,
I'm on Twitter a lot. You can hit me on Twitter.
Do Instagram like when I post pictures, but like
Oh, do you want to
I do
plug
but
your Instagram? Was the same?
Plug your Instagram. Come on, you do enough painting and whatnot. Do it, Baka.
I've just been very lazy about Twitter, especially
Oh,
with Elon in charge.
yeah.
I have to. Like, it's basically my interest has been like, wait, I swear to God, I saw there were 20 tweets in a row of him, and I was like, really? And then it was 2 of people that I follow, and then another 15 after that, and I was like, I can't do
Yeah, I'm
this.
just
I've
not.
muted all of his stuff. So
I unfollowed him, and then I keep getting suggestions off of random stuff to follow him again. It's like, stop.
he is
Stop.
trying to promote his
Stop.
ego
I
more
never
than he is
followed
anything
him
else.
to begin with, and I still get shit.
Yeah, so I mean, like, if you want most of us,
Yeah.
don't worry about the Twitter handles. Just find us on Discord.
Hit us on Discord, either mine or Oak's, and we are always there, always active. So anytime you need anything, you can hit us up on our Discords, which are right below in the bottom of the description.
I mean, while you're at it, make sure you hit that sub button and then also the little bell.
Exactly.
So we know when these have gone live.
Mm-hmm.
Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313, where Chicken's already finished Dead Space, right?
So good. I started a new game +1, but unfortunately, a child got sick, and I haven't been able to stream all of last week and all of the week before that. And now I've got work that might just start picking up a little bit here. So unfortunately,
We'll see. I would say you probably will be on Thursday though, because I think it's supposed to be not good work weather.
so we'll see. We'll see. I'll try to fit in streams again,
And get back on. But if you hit the follow button, you'll know when he goes live.
or join our Discord, which I always ping when I go live.
There you go. And when you remember.
I always ping. It just might be a little late.
2 hours in. Pung. Dong. Also make sure you go to twitch.tv/AMDB Oak Tree, where up this week I'll be gone on another trip. It's my last one of the year. Well, last one until the fall.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not true.
Last one until the fall. I will. Right now, I'm playing through Raft. And that's the only game that I'm currently playing right now, just because I wanted to get back from this trip and then find something else to play. When it comes to live, I think I played Hogwarts one day, and it was just because I wanted to chat while I was playing, and I could go kill wizards and stuff at the same time I was doing it. But that's about it. Anyway, for Infinite Respawn, I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
I'm Chicken.
I'm Baka.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.